Go ahead.
I want to say, I want to reach out right now to our black women. Yeah, real talk. You know, and I want to reach out to our black women, and I want to, I'm going to say this. Too many of our chicks are just pouring out. Like, our sisters will meet a nigga. Like this is really fucked up in our community. I say this. Our sisters will meet a nigga, fuck a nigga raw within weeks, get pregnant by a nigga they hardly know, and keep the baby knowing dang well they have no way to take care of the child. And then the logical thought for them is, it doesn't matter, I'm just gonna go on welfare. And I wanna say, black men, we have a lot to fucking atone for. But I do want to say black women, like a lot of this shit starts with y'all. Like you guys gotta stop letting literally any Tom, Dick, and Harry in your ass and give birth to a child that has no fucking chance. You give, like too many of our sisters are giving birth to young black men and young black women with no chance because you're horny. But when the responsibility comes, like you don't understand, you have to educate that young lady, that young boy, to like, and we're just procreating like animals. Black people right now, it feels like we're on a national reserve. Like we're like animals in a national park, and the ones on the outside looking at us, they just watch us procreate and not teach our children to be in the same situation we're in. We got grandmothers at the age of 40. How you a grandmother at 40?
I agree. I think that's going into the science of these young ladies looking for their father, in a sense. Looking for their father, looking for love through their legs, and not finding it, and then moving on to the next. And watching their mom do the same thing. Having watched your mom for so many years, bring one boyfriend in after another, after another, after another. Maybe not quite understanding what was going on in the back room or whatever the case may be, or whatever reason that it didn't work out, but this is what you know, and it was normal. It looks normal. You hear them fighting sometimes. You might see a little bit of domestic violence in some cases, a lot of cases. And so this is what your mother inadvertently teaches you.
Tell them.
You find love. You're looking for love through your legs, not through your heart.
If this doesn't apply to you,
and your soul. Yeah, if it don't
but a lot of our sisters have this problem.
Many of our sisters had this problem, and it's sad and unfortunate that the absence, the fathers, remember we spoke on this, sometimes the father that actually is in the life is just as bad as the father that doesn't even come around.
Now that's deep. That's what
you see what I'm saying?
I would ask you to expound upon.
So for instance, you might have a situation where yes, the father he's provided. I'm gonna use myself for example. My mom had provided me with a man, a great man that he raised me, even though I wasn't his biological, right? And I tilt my hat to him for that. But at the same time, because of whatever abuses that his father, his grandfather didn't know no better coming from the South, they was hard on him, they was tough on him. He in turn became tough on me, right? There was some abuse there as far as verbal. I wouldn't say necessarily, I got my share of whoopings like any other bad kid should, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say there was necessarily physical abuse. But I definitely will say there was verbal abuse. There was even, I would go so far as to say psychological abuse. And just because you have a two-parent household doesn't, and they provide, because I never was hungry, I never needed clothes or a roof, or nothing. I never wanted for anything as a child, right? I can honestly say that. But I did yearn for genuine love, genuine affection, genuine attention from my parents, you know what I'm saying? That I looking back, didn't get. It wasn't the positive.
You just said some of the realest shit I've heard any brother say. Because this is something that we don't like to talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
like we need these things
to make it better. We gotta talk about it.
We often don't get it.
We gotta talk about it to make it better.
That's real. That's real.
We just make sure. Okay.
Like we often don't get the love you talking about. Like me, like you know what I'm saying. My mother is like, you know what I'm saying. She's the toughest nigga I ever met, but she is the reason also why I was in the foster homes. I went to the foster homes because of her, and then I got out of the foster homes because of her. And everything that happened in between and after happened. They out here today. Yeah, they are. But like what you just said was some real shit that like black dude, like I was out here Thursday night, long story short, Thursday night I'm out here fucking with this dumb nigga Swiss. Swiss, you see this?
I think you giving Swift too much airtime on our station.
You right.
Man.
I still hug.
That nigga don't deserve.
I still hug you. I love you, my nigga. I hope you.
Yeah, he's still a brother. Hopefully
right.
he watched this and he can learn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hope you end up being okay. Like, because right now you're not okay, and I hope you end up being okay. But like dealing with cats like that is very frustrating to deal with our people sometimes because I'm speaking for me, I'm not speaking for you. Sometimes where I want to take our people, I want to teach our people how to think. Like, you don't even have to agree with me, but there needs to begin a processes of where we understand the processes of proper thinking. To even disagree with
I'm glad you said something about the see what a lot of people don't think and understand is there's a science to the ability, the art of being able to think outside of a box. To find your way with a pair of scissors in your hand, stuck inside a wet paper bag and getting out of it.
It's not about agreeing. It's not about agreeing. It's about being able to understand the information provided to you.
Yes, and seeing how you can utilize it to benefit yourself.
I believe if we as a people, I'm talking about people within the Pan-African diaspora, black people, Puerto Rican, Dominican, whatever the fuck, like I believe if we can learn and endure, we have to endure each other. If we can learn how to think, I truly believe there'd be less of us in prison. There'd be less of us hurting each other. We would think before we move. And that's a little bit, but that's a lot of it. That's a lot of it. I think we can do this, but I think this is quintessential to learn how to think. Well, we just enraged.
Not necessarily. Well, I will say this. I don't know if it'll necessarily stop us from going to prison because knowing that the prison industrial complex was
not stop us, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I do mean to cut you off, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Not stop us from going to prison. Here's what I'm gonna say. If we had an ethnic generational bracket that says, hey, of our people, that says, hey, before I allow my emotions to control me and get me in a situation I might not want to be in, I'm going to think first, I'm going to evaluate the situation in front of me, I'm going to actually remove myself from the situation, and I'm going to look at this like from a third party. If we were taught that in our communities, I'm going to stand on this. I will bet the industrial prison system, half of us wouldn't be in prison anymore.
I kind of disagree. The reason I disagree is because, and you make a great point.
I'm beginning to see the point you're making.
Yeah, as far as changing the mindset, you absolutely. Hold on. And it's crazy how I'm about to disagree. Yeah, but I need you to hear me out though.
Yeah, I hear you.
Only reason I'm disagreeing is because when you outlaw someone's the color of my skin, I could be an outright citizen, and I'm still gonna go to jail for being black. Now I might be exaggerating, but using that hypothetically, I'm saying when you watch me and you target me and you say, do social engineering and say, well, you know what, this brother ain't doing nothing wrong as far as I can see. So if you black, then it's illegal. And you're gonna go to jail for that. You know, you see what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily think that just because we tighten up, because you know the Clintons sold this down the river when Bill Clinton sold signed the Crime Bill Act in 94.
I guess what I would say to our people, what I'm saying is not tighten up. Learn how to manipulate.
Yeah, but hold on, but you're right. Now agreeing with you to the point where if we had more unity, how you doing, How you doing, ladies? If we had more unity, then we would come together and say, ho, we're not gonna allow you, Mr. Politician, to take our vote and not give us something in return.
So then
and then sell us down the river to the private prison corporations and think next just because you played the saxophone, smoked a little weed, and got your little dick sucked in the White House, that we just gonna give you our vote. And that right there makes all the difference in the world.
But we gotta start brick by brick. So my question to you is,
but at the same time, then it wouldn't be us who was just going to jail. Then they will find somebody else to put in jail. But it still don't make it right.
My question to you now is, you're right, and that's a valid point. But then my question to you is, who the fuck checks us but us?
Yeah, we gotta police ourselves. We gotta get back to that. We haven't been to that.
Now we're going
it's been over
So when I say a lot of niggas gotta go, and you agree with me the other night, some of us